Thinking of getting a good-looking figure painting may require certain drawing practice and experience? Some people might feel that a qualified figure drawing is too far away from them before they have achieved that skill. So this video will not really show you the proper way to practice figure drawing, but I will show you some tricks to get the figure painting that looks like a qualified level. Hi everyone, when I started recording this video, I only wanted to show the ordinary painting process, but then I recalled my resistance and difficult time in the practice of figure drawing. So in the second demo in this video, I will share the method of how I trace from reference. As you can see, I'm getting the reference from the Street View of Google Earth app. There's endless reference. Whenever I don't know what to paint, I often wander inside. So the first demo I will do as usual, begin with the pencil sketch to get the figure or structure. The first paint brush I use now is called Stain B. It is one of the main brushes in my brush kits. It has a watercolor pattern that completely balances the brightness. This is abnormal in real watercolor, because in reality the brightness of the watercolor wash will not be that balanced. But sometimes I need a perfectly balanced foundation to manipulate or overlap color value, so the existence of this brush will come in handy. And here is how I do for the color to fade into another with paint beyond the shape. And then use a soft eraser on where you want the color to fade out. And also use the non-permeate mask as eraser to get the stroke-like effect at the edge. Now that I have completed the base colors, I merge them to one layer. Next we will work on the color value. So from now on I will often add layer with linear burn mode. Since I'm working at a linear burn layer, I can use blender brush for some mix or wash. Don't let the current actions affect the previous results from time to time. So always add layers, then merge up when satisfied. Now this layer between the value and base color for brightness. Alright, I'm done with the first sketch. Now let's move on to the second demo. I will continue around the street to look for next figure reference. There happens to be a biker here. Not too complicated and has more displayable parts than others, which can be used to repeat a bit more of the method that I want to show you. Since we are going to trace from the reference, so I use the reference itself to decide on the scale and position. Now lock the reference and add our first layer. Pick the ink brush, Ding Z Show. And I start with the skin color part, which is face and hands. Now I'm doing the part for hair on this layer, so let me explain the set of steps that we will do on each layer. Getting the shape as part of the subject structure, use blender scrub some edge for fade out effect, eraser with non-permeate mask get some like stroke effect, alpha lock the layer, use hue saturation and brightness adjustment to make it totally white color. Then color. Now I adjust the background color to slightly a bit of gray, so we can see the shape while placing the color. So this method will have more steps, but we skipped the pencil sketch section and we will directly use this method to get the subject structure. As I will just keep repeating those same steps, I will speed up the video until I get the whole base structure. Now that I got the base and whole structure, I put the reference aside for the color value later on. Now I will finish up the shadow. I will merge all these shapes into one layer, If you still want to keep them separate, I suggest you duplicate this whole artwork file at the gallery, so you can work with a clean layer library in the next action. So eventually this method replaced the pencil sketching structure, and at the same time we got the base color layer. And now I move on to the value. If you want any part to completely follow the base shape, here you can drag that layer to right above the base color, and use the clipping mask with one tap at that layer, and choose the clipping mask. Now add a layer and drag it all the way behind, to fill in the darkest part between the front wheel and body. Now to fill the light, add a layer on the top. And now for the background, add a layer at the behind. Roughly all the steps are the same as you getting the base shape just now, but one additional trick here, I grab the semi-dry flat brush, and then I apply the flat brush stroke effect around the background. And blend the place between the ink and stroke, and try to keep some stroke effect at the edge. Then continue to the next step, alpha lock, and adjust to white and pick your color and place on it. Now I add some color for the background by placing a color burn layer on above. Now I put a layer between the background and subject as a mask, and use the ink brush and white color. Don't bother to get it so accurate, because we can use an eraser later on. We are almost there, but I feel the background kind of spoil, so I'm gonna do some shape and color adjustment on it. So here pretty much that's all about this video. Before I end this video, I will pick some other reference by continuing around the street, and make it to time lapse and add them in the ending session of this episode. So thanks for watching, hope you learned some things, and I'll see you in the next video.